When you look back 30 years and what you've achieved, how do you feel today being on Talk with Kunal Vasudeva?
No, 31 years, I think when I look back, it's been extremely fulfilling. Even today, when I wake up in the morning, wear my sari or my suit, do my makeup, I love coming to work. I love the industry. I think I'm just so in love with the industry that nothing can stop me from feeling positive, feeling energetic, and feeling inspired every day. And finally, India, Kunal, is waking up to the tourism sector. As you know, the Prime Minister has set aside 5,000 crores only for this industry. And it is one of the pillars where India's economy will now ride on. So when the industry is getting this much of focus, it's only natural that people like us in the industry and students like you who are on the threshold of joining the industry should feel that much positive about where we are going with this. 31 years back when I was in catering college, we had 3.5 companies in India which hired and a sprinkling of hotels, right? We did not have options. Today, every city has more hotels than it ever had. I was telling somebody yesterday, Marriott has 19 hotels in Bangalore alone.
Yeah.
Did we ever think of that? A whole company never had 19 hotels, leave alone a city of one company, and imagine the number of rooms that we're going to get in the future. So I think it's a very bright time for the industry, and hence, when I look back, I feel I wish I was your generation. I would have been that much more confident about my career. But I know I look very young. I can always start afresh again. But I'm congratulations on being a part of this industry already. And we look forward to very, very good times in this career, in this industry.
A quick follow-up question to you, Ranju, would be, when you're looking at India now at the cusp, the two things are happening.
Yeah.
More Indians are traveling domestically,
Mhm.
and more tourists are kind of coming into India.
Yes.
And you still have, let's say, a 50% of students over here who may go and serve the other sectors in the hospitality economy. And if you have to veer them and towards the hotel sector specifically, what would you like to tell them?
The one thing that I would like to mention here, that if you compare to the time I started to now, the industry has just about matured or is still maturing. The other allied sectors in the hospitality industry are at a very nascent stage. For example, we look at WeWorks, CoWorks. During our time, there was
Regis.
backup, the back offices, the GEs of the world, call centers, and all of that. It died a natural death. Call centers died, that career died a natural death, because whilst it gives you a very good foothold with good money and a promise of a great career, unfortunately in India, these other allied sectors have not really matured till now. Are you waiting and willing to wait for it to mature and take a chance? Then go join it. But the hospitality industry, hotel sector will never go out of fashion. People will travel. We saw how after COVID, there's been huge revenge travel. You'll be happy to know that Marriott and other companies as well have signed the maximum number of hotels after COVID, because we know this industry is not going out of fashion anytime. People will get married. They will get married in hotels. People will have celebrations. They will celebrate in hotels. And people have to travel because our work is becoming such that travel becomes an important part. In Marriott, the post-COVID period has been called the power of travel. And that power is here to stay. So I would say that compared to the allied areas and the hotels per se, hotels have far more longevity and they have far more strength than the others. I'm sure the others will also come up, but right now they are in the nascent testing phase. If I'm building a career, I would not want to test my career on a sector which is testing itself.
True.
I would rather stick to a sector which has proven over time
Absolutely.
that it's here to stay.
And rapid growth and exponential growth
Yeah.
only comes with rapid growth and exponential sectors. Vinay, given the scale of the hospitality economy, and this is more of, I often say that India is a land of contradictions as well. So whatever you see in India is true, but the opposite is also true. What I essentially am asking you is, given the fact that largely we are a hospitality economy, right? Both in terms of GDP, both in terms of employment, organized, unorganized sector, yet there are few students who are consider the hospitality, I'm talking about the entire overarching sector after 12th. What do you think? How can we change this perception?
No, that's a thank you, Kunal. That's a brilliant question, and it's so ironical that we come from a nation which pretty much um, lived the adage of Atiti Devo Bhaya, and somewhere we are losing that that edifice or the building block of hospitality. Uh, what I want to say is that I think there's been a rapid shift in the perception of the new gen which is coming into the workforce after COVID. I mean, there's no denying the fact that COVID did impact some of the service sector industries very, very badly. Uh, you know, while the IT and other allied services got a flip because more and more work happened in remote locations, work from home, and things like that, industries which relied on human connect kind of suffered. But as Ranju said, I think hospitality and other allied industries have really bounced back after COVID. Now, while and that's the common talk which goes on in our circle at least, that post COVID the customer demand has bounced back like how the consumers are coming back and filling up the hotels, but the talent is not filling up with the same proportion. And as I foresee, Kunal, there are two things to it. One, there will always be a lag between consumer sentiment and talent sentiment. Uh, it's not correct to kind of expect them to time together, because once the consumer comes up, the industry picks up, the financials go, the reputation goes, the word of mouth goes. That's how the talent starts reacting to the whole industry persona. So honestly, where we were in say 2022 or 23, we are much better off 24. As I speak, uh, some of my team members are already in one of the institute in Vaksha for hiring for our Voyager batch, and there is a great amount of enthusiasm in the students. Um, but I must tell that for all of you who've opted for hospitality as a professional career, um, I've been in hospitality for the last 5 years, 13 years. I've been with the army, and in between, do your maths, whatever turns out, if you subtract it with 30, with multiple industries and a big chunk with the airline. I can tell you there is no substitute to human interaction and that gratification of serving a fellow human being. And I also keep saying, after army, this is the closest I will get insofar as working from trenches is concerned. And there's no better substitute to it. You will realize as you will grow in your career, as you will pass out from the institute, take your baby steps in different companies, you will realize how gratifying it is to make someone's day from sheer good service. And that is what other industry may not give you. Of course, there is gratification in IT, gratification in telecom, gratification in other this thing, but that instant gratification of a smile, of a thank you, of a job well done, of making up someone's day, uh, can come only in this industry. And that what it does is it gives a boost and a validation to your own skills and your own efforts. And all of us, irrespective whether you are a student or you are 30 plus in your career journeys, we all vie for that validation of what we are doing. So rest assured, I can tell you, you're at the right spot. And apart from all that, what I've told you in terms of gratification, validation, the bottom line is this is one of the fastest growing industry. All of us are selfish about our careers. I can tell you, most of you are going to join at the management levels when you go and join different hospitality companies. You will most probably join as managers, assistant managers, senior executives, and things like that. That's one strata of employee base in our industry, which is going to see a phenomenal growth because of the sheer number of hotels which are opening, the sheer number of signings which are happening. And earlier in the day and yesterday we were talking, the signings are phenomenal. And what works for us is more and more companies are going local when it comes to talent. So more and more of you rather than expats who are going to fill up those leadership positions. So if you combine that validation, gratification, growth, I don't think any other industry at this time and moment can give you such a deadly combination.
If a follow-up question, Vinay, quickly, is if I kind of look at Marriott per se, right? At the end of the day, there are two outcomes, as I say. When you grow so rapidly and there's exponential growth, there is a requirement of talent. But retention of talent, right, is also equally important, right? Otherwise, there is that continuous churn. Now, post-COVID, 5 years of your service, 30 years of your extensive. What are the 3-4 retention strategies, let's say Marriott is incorporating at least in this hyper-competitive Indian market?
No, that's so. I'll be honest. Retention remains a big opportunity area for all of us. As I said, we've lost out on some momentum in the last 3-4 years because of COVID. And as I said, there is a lag between the way our customers are reacting to the industry and the way talent is reacting to the industry. And as a result of that lag, there is as much of talent which is available at the moment. So there is a war for talent for sure. Now, how is Marriott tackling this particular challenge is a very interesting take, and I'm going to give you a perspective, and I'm not going to give you the usual HR spiel. I'm looking at myself as a talent here. I'm not looking at myself as an HR leader of an organization. Typically, if I'm a talent and I want to work in an organization in this new age, and I have a daughter who's Gen Z or whatever you want to call them, if I have to look at it from that perspective, there are 3 things which each one of you look at, even I look at, at 52 or 53. One is, how am I contributing to my own growth? How am I contributing to industry at large? And how am I contributing to the communities at large? And I'm going from inward to outward. There's a design in the way I'm explaining. Marriott is trying to tackle these 3 things at these 3 fronts. When it comes to your own inward growth or inward, seeking something, your awareness, alignments and things like that, we are very, very aggressively working on something known as life on time, wherein we are very, very aggressively pushing for 9 hours of shift. That's it. There is a work-life balance. And as all of you know, why your generation, even our generation, we have priorities apart from the 4 walls of the office or the hotel. You want to pursue a hobby in guitar, you want to play a sport, you want to, as simple as that, helping your own daughter in certain academics or chill out with your friends. That's your inner well-being which we are looking at, and the least we can do that is by ensuring fair or legit work hours, if I may call it, and that's a business priority. You will hear more about it in the coming days. It's being managed, monitored, audited, recognized at the highest level in Marriott, which is the headquarters at Bethesda. So that's your inner well-being. The second is contributing to the industry. When it comes to the industry, there are enough and more learning programs, learning avenues, sidestepping avenues, doing task force, growing at a much faster velocity that Marriott is providing. And I'll be honest, a whole lot of that is also coming the way we are growing. As much as our owners want our talent to stay in a hotel for 3 years, 4 years, my velocity doesn't allow them to stay in a hotel for more than a year and a half. So it's a win-win situation for someone like you who want to get varied experiences in a compressed time frame so that you can enrich your CV or a resume. And that is what industry exposure or a varied exposure, whether it is across the brand class which we have, or whether it is the city hotel, resort hotel and other hotels, or the sheer economy or select premium or luxury experiences which we can provide you. So that's as far as contributing to the industry is concerned. And finally, coming on to contributing to the community at large. Again, it's a very, very big agenda in the Marriott world, and we take it very, very seriously. It's part of Ranju's goals, it's part of my goal, and we call it Serve 360, wherein we all understand that for this generation and for most of us, while we had those inner consciousness in contributing to underserved parts of the society or underprivileged parts of the society and some other communities at large or the ecosystem, it was never brought out in the forefront. We've now brought it out in the forefront. And we are saying you can be a good human being, you can be a good professional, and you can be a good, what I call an eco-citizen, wherein you are in harmony with the environment. And that's what Serves 360 is. So I know it's a long answer to your question, Kunal, but honestly, I didn't want to fall into the trap of giving the usual HR spiel of, these learning development programs, this is career track and all that. Of course, that's all part and parcel of all operators worldwide. But I think it's important for this generation to understand that we don't look at it from an HR lens. We look at it at a very, very holistic lens, wherein it is targeted towards your inner well-being, your industry well-being, and your community well-being.
Yeah.
And that's a big hook for us.
Yeah. I'm also raising 2 daughters, and I completely resonate with what you said. Is what they're also looking at, this generation, right, is investment in them, investment in their engagement, investment in their holistic well-being, and you have their loyalty.
Correct.
And any deficit is equal to an exit. I'm just going to pivot. I'm mindful of the time. I'm not going to ask too many questions, but there is a full podcast with Ranju there. Ranju, we often hear this interplay of tech and hospitality and guest experiences, and the fact that high touch, high tech. From an innovation perspective or tech innovation perspective, how big is Marriott betting in India for that?
So I'm sure all of you read the news about the GCC coming into Hyderabad. That's Marriott's biggest tech initiative in several decades, and they've chosen India to be the center for it. So that speaks volumes of our focus towards tech. We are I speak like a hotelier. Everybody speaks tech. All of us know that, but the truth of human interactions, like Vinay mentioned, never goes away. And I'll give you a little story. Very recently, I had a guest who wrote to me. He was staying in one of our hotels in Calcutta and had business the next day in another part of Calcutta. So he shifted from one of our hotels to the next hotel. And apparently he was using some very high funda equipment for sleep, better sleep in the night. I had to Google it to understand what it was, because as hoteliers, we hit the bed and we sleep because we're so tired, right? Anyways, so he left that equipment. Apparently, it's an equipment, but it's very small in size, on the bed of his previous hotel, and went to the other hotel. And he realized it desperately at 9:30 in the night when he wanted to sleep. And he called up the duty manager of the previous hotel, not the duty manager, front office manager of the previous hotel, a lady, at 9:30 in the night, to say, hey, listen, I've left that and I can't sleep without that. Can you do something about it? And she continued to coordinate about the equipment being found on the bed to being transported to the other hotel before this guest could sleep. And it was finally delivered, but 15 minutes before the delivery, she told the guest that your equipment's on the way. However, you will not be able to reach me after this because I'm taking a flight. And the guest said, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't realize you were taking a flight. And she said, my father passed away 3 hours back, and I'm taking a flight to Bombay from Calcutta because my mom is all alone. And the guest was gobsmacked, because through the entire process of finding the equipment for him to sleep better, there was this lady who was battling her father's demise and yet did not make him feel that she was doing, I mean, he said it was a lost and found, and he wrote this entire email to me saying, I've never encountered anything like this in my life. And the email was all about that lady and not that equipment. I always take this example that I'm sure he must have slept better that day, knowing humanity is still alive, hospitality is still alive, rather than just that equipment. So tech is fine, but I think human interaction will continue to remain the key in the industry. Having said that, of course, Marriott, as it always has been, is way above the rest in terms of getting tech to be a part of our lives, but it's more towards efficiency than replacing it with human beings. So it's all about back-end work. How do you replace that? How much efficient can we get? And of course, a little bit of, interaction. Like we in our hotels, almost 40% of the hotels now, you can watch your OTT on the TV screen. None of us put on the TVs in our hotels anymore. And you can now connect your phone with full privacy, that when you check out, your phone gets disconnected from the TV. So those little touch points are there. Contactless check-in, check-out, we've all spoken about. We have mobile keys, so you don't have to have your plastic keys with you. You spend less on plastic. So these touch points are being done, but I don't see it replacing the human spirit ever in this industry.
So true. So it's just passion driving everything else. Again, I'm only in the last 5 minutes of the segment, which is left. And Ranju, again, this is a question to you. And back in the late 80s, when you were in love with Amir Khan, but then you
that's that's becoming a folklore now.
But you married your husband.
Yeah.
If I take you back in time,
yeah.
right, in the late 1980s, early 90s, when you started your career, and you were Ranju Alex, the head of Marriott India at that point in time, and you had 30 years in front of you, how would you change the industry perception?
I think I would have gone to every student in 11th and 12th and told them how beautiful this industry is, how inspiring it is, and how it's not a job. It changes your life.
True.
You meet so many guests from varied walks of life, from different countries. You meet associates who are from varied walks of life, different backgrounds. You get so inspired by each of their stories. You're inspired to do great work. Even in terms of personality, I used to be, in my 20s and 21s, this nervous wreck, not very confident about how I looked or how I presented myself, how I spoke. 31 years later, where your English gets better, your spoken English gets better, you get proficient in speaking, you get proficient in presenting, you have a swag because you're a hotelier, you have confidence because you have a hotelier. I met the PM last year, and in the run up to the meeting with the Prime Minister, my whole family was nervous for me. How are you going to meet him? What are you going to say? But with 31 years of experience as a hotelier, you know you can meet the Brad Pitts of your life, the Prime Minister Modis of your life, and you are a confident soul because you have seen so much, you have dealt with so many people, your whole personality changes. I think we have a beautiful job. I live in the best, I go and stay in the best hotels. I go see so many countries. I eat wonderful food. I speak to celebrities, understand them. I speak to associates and understand them. Look at the experiences of life that I get as a hotelier. I wish I had lots of time 30 years back to go and tell students that, hey, listen, this is a bright, beautiful, inspiring world to be in.
Beautiful.
And it pays good money too now. Not 31 years back, but it pays good money as well.
This is the last one. I'm sorry, I'm running out of time, but Ranju, first to you and then Vinay to you. What's that one unconventional piece of advice which rarely this young generation gets? Would you like to give them?
Be yourself. I think everybody tells you to be what either they were 30 years back, 50, 40 years back, or what they think you should be. Just be yourself. Because there's beauty and love and respect in being what you are. And the world better recognize that.
True. Vinay, if I had to ask you the same question.
Okay, I have two H's as a principle. H. One, stay hungry and stay humane. When I say not hungry as in cafeteria, of course at your age that's what I also used to get. But I think it's very, very important as you go into the industry, for any industry to grow. I think being hungry for more knowledge, hungry for experiences, hungry for insights. That's the, if I may say, bedrock of being a successful professional. And of course, we are in a human interaction industry. We deal with human beings. We deal with their emotions, aspiration. So being empathetic, being humane to your associates, to your guests, is cannot be overemphasized. So stay hungry and stay humane.
I have two words to give them, right?
Okay.
At 52, only I can give is Gyan. And it's called so what? If you fail,
So what?
so what? If you fall, so what? If you fall in love, so what? If you get
another
dumped in
thing,
love, so what?
Kunal,
Hanji.
we had a session with the minister Rajvendra Rathore.
Yeah.
Right? He's Olympic medalist, the shooter. Oh my God, I thought I've seen it all in life. I was so inspired by that gentleman. And he said something that I carry 1.5 years later still with me. He said these golden words, I give a damn.
Super.
Okay? We never use it. But you have to use it very surreptitiously. You can't be brazen about it.
Yeah.
But if you use that in the right way, in the right focus, I think that simplifies our lives so much. I give a damn.
Yeah, so true, so true. Just two questions, please, ladies and gentlemen. I promise you she's going to come back and Vinay is going to come back and we're going to take it. Yeah, please. The gentleman over here. Yes. Can't hear you. Can you? Yeah?
Awesome.
I'm a 75 student. So I have a question for you and sir. So the first question is towards you. What strategy is Marriott implementing to enhance customer loyalty and retention?
Oh, very loaded.
Can I take that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the next question
Just pause with that question.
Okay.
First.
Have you heard of Marriott Bonvoy?
Yeah.
Okay. You saw the Ed Sheeran show?
No.
We were co-sponsors. Marriott Bonvoy is the world's largest loyalty program. Marriott had a loyalty program and Starwood had even a much larger and a stronger loyalty program. And when the two companies merged, it became a super big and super strong loyalty program. Everything that we do in Marriott today worldwide is revolving around Marriott Bonvoy. The amount of goodies you get there, and by goodies, I mean, say, a late checkout, points, everything is so attractive that that's what we do mostly for our loyalty, and we are extremely proud of it. We have 210 million members globally, 6.6 million in India. We had David Marriott 2 weeks back in India. He's given me a target of 20 million. So we're going to go there. The idea is to continue to have more members so that even if you're on an official trip, you earn points and then you can use it when you're taking your family for a leisure trip. We have tied up with HDFC credit card. So every time you spend on HDFC credit card, you get points. You can use it for a stay at, say, JW Mussoorie, right? We're coming up with another very big tie-up. Very soon, in the next 1 month, you're going to hear about it. So the idea is to just get people hooked on to our loyalty program.
I'm sorry, I can't take any more questions from you. So sorry about this, but I promise
Sorry,
you
Vinay.
a one-on-one. But last question, anything at all? Okay. Ranju,
We can probably ask him for the second
Oh,
one.
okay,
then.
please go ahead. Since there's no other question, you go ahead.
Mohit, go for it.
So can you discuss Marriott's expansion plans, particularly in the
Oh, that's a good
emerging
question.
That's my favorite.
markets?
Favorite
good
one. Okay.
You should have asked that first.
So Vinay and I look after South Asia, which is basically 5 countries, but I'll talk about India right now. It's a milestone year for us. Marriott started its journey in India in 1999. 25 years back, Goa Marriott was our first hotel. 25 years later, we are at 153 hotels. As we speak, 87 hotels are being built in various stages of construction. And as we speak, we are close to signing almost 7,000 room nights this year alone, which are not even started construction. So it's an extremely robust pipeline. We are currently in 42 cities. In the next 2 years, we are expanding to 11 more cities. So every associate working with us can say, you know what, I'm from Gorakhpur and I want to work there. There you go. I'm from Goa, I want to work there. I have 10 hotels there. I can make a lifetime of a career in Goa. I want to work in Bangalore. You have 19 hotels. You can make a whole career out of it. So expansion is huge. And that's where we need youngsters like you. So please join us.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sorry, Dilip. Out of context, out of syllabus, please join us. That's the bottom of it all.
Ranju, thank you so much for your time, for your wisdom. On behalf of everyone, I can tell you they are energized. And I started off by calling both of you tenacious, and I've started resilience. But both of you are so kind and so nice and so full of love and so humble, right? एक बॉलीवुड शायरी तो बनती है. Can't Bombay.
कौन बोलेगा? Oh,
No,
you?
मैंने.
Okay. Of course.
Kunal.
I thought, when did Vinay get into शायरी? Okay. Kunal, all yours.
हमेशा देखा गया है महान झुकता है. हमेशा देखा गया है महान झुकता है. जमीन नहीं झुकती, आसमान झुकता है.